Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chuchu Reviews, the show where I take 4 random, unrelated albums, and I stick them in a blender, and then I review them, I rate them, and I rank them. Simplicity achieved. 3 of the records this week were pulled from the comments, so if you have an album you'd like to see featured, why not drop a suggestion, and who knows, you might just get lucky. So let's introduce this week's combatants in alphabetical order. Firstly, we have New Boots and Panties by Dury from 1977, which was nominated by Steve. Next we have The Bad Fire by Mogwai from 2025, which is my own personal pick for inclusion. Then we have Labour of Love by Lowe from 1979, which was nominated by Tailtube. And finally we have Fear by Toad the Wet Sprocket from 1991, which was nominated by Grayson. So, now the battle lines have been drawn, let's be complete rankers and rank up a storm. This is Chuchu Reviews. Coming in last place this week we have The Bad Fire by the Scottish noise merchants Mogwai, which was the band's 11th LP and was released a scant few months ago in January 2025. And wow, it certainly has been a minute since I last listened to Mogwai. I think the last record I checked in with was The Hawk is Howling from all the way back in 2008. And Mogwai of course are a mostly instrumental band that have won plenty of acclaim and a long career that has seen them comfortably transition into modern British rock legends, even scoring a #1 album with their previous release As the Love Continues. So what's new with Mogwai since I last swung by? Well, from what I can tell, the band have incorporated a lot more synths into their music and a lot more power chords. I feel that here the band are a lot less youthful and a bit less inventive than they once were, but for the most part this is still business as usual for Mogwai. Whether that's a good thing after 11 albums, I'm not entirely sure. But I guess if you are coming to Mogwai, then you're signing up for a very specific type of music, and this album delivers that in a way that's pleasantly familiar. But to be honest, that's all. Like, there's nothing exceptional about this LP whatsoever. In fact, there's quite a lot on this that is very forgettable and also quite samey. Tracks like the opening, God Gets You Back, 18 Volcanoes, Hammer Room, What Kind of Mix Is This, and Fact Boy are about as humdrum as Mogwai gets. They're just like totally invisible tunes. As for the good stuff, High Chaos has the old school Mogwai soundscape and gradual build up that brought the band to the table in the first place, even if it's not a particularly fresh take on the formula. Lion Rumpus has some jumbled squealing guitar work that helps it jump out from the tracklist. Fanzine Made of Flesh is great with its strident power chords and cool sequence synth riffs. The track has a good vibrant energy. Pale Vegan Hip Pain on the other hand has a sorrowful slow burn atmosphere. Well, if you think this world is bad you should see some of the others is the 7-minute plus centerpiece of the record. Its measured ramp up from minimalist melancholia to fuzzing walls of distortion being exactly what you'd want from Mogwai. So yeah, ultimately The Bad Fire is okay, like at 54 minutes it's perhaps a bit too long and there are too many forgettable tunes. But even at its worst the album is at least pleasantly ignorable. At its best it's pretty good but still nowhere near essential. I mean, even within the insular world of Mogwai, The Bad Fire doesn't stack up to previous highs such as Happy Songs for Happy People or Mr. Beast, which leaves this LP doomed to be damned by faint praise. 3 stars. Next up we have Labour of Love by Lowe from 1979, which was the English singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist's second solo LP. Well, it was kind of a solo LP as this record was actually recorded while Lowe was still part of the band Rockpile. That group recorded enough songs for 5 different albums, but they ended up getting spread across the band members' solo careers, with Rockpile only releasing 1 LP under their original moniker. And what we have here is an album that these days would probably be classed as jangle pop, yet hails from a time before that term was coined. Nick pulls in elements of Beatlesque pop, folk and country rock, 1950s style rhythm and blues and rockabilly to form an instantly inviting package that's flush with catchy tunes and feels both retro and new wavy at the same time. It's also very consistent in the quality department, so there's not a whole lot to complain about. In fact, I only have 2 negatives to note. The first would be the track Endless Grey Ribbon, which starts out nice but eventually ruins things with an effects-smothered bass line that dominates the track in an ugly way. The other issue would be the song Big Kick Plain Scrap, which tries for a jumbled Afrobeat vibe but ends up falling flat on its face. I guess Nick should have titled the track Big Ick Plain Crap. Actually, the song's not that bad, but it ain't great either. Otherwise, we're on very solid footing. Opener and US hit Cruel to Be Kind kicks things off with a super catchy jangle pop tune that stomps along in a joyously upbeat kind of way. American Squirm has a Beach Boys style surf rock vibe and is a lot of toe tapping fun. What is the best way to make an American Squirm though? Maybe tell them that you love the taste of your father's spotted dick? Answers on a postcard, please. You Make Me is a short but lovely stripped back acoustic number that harbours a deep romanticism. Switchboard Susan kicks ass with his thumping jangle that features a nice set of gleaming guitar licks. Without Love has a fun Everly Brothers shimmy to it as Nick croons, "Without love, I'm not human. Without love, I'm more machine." Yikes! If Nick is single, all the younglings better watch out. Actually, scratch that, just let Darth Lowe kill them all. After all, the youngsters these days are coarse and irritating and they get everywhere. While the likes of Born Fighter and Dose of You are nicely energetic rockabilly tunes, the latter of which may or may not be about getting the clap, as Nick sings, "I took a lethal dose of you tonight. Don't want to spread it all around. Yeah man, I mean those crabs will kill ya." So yeah, Labour of Lust is a charming album of new wave jangle pop that mostly stays in an upbeat mood and tempo, and as such there's just not much to dislike here. But in the same breath, there's also nothing on this that truly excites me either. This record is just good. Like, it's solid and robust and dependable and well worth listening to, yet it's also unlikely to be anybody's all-time favourite album. 4 stars. Next up we have Fear by Toad the Wet Sprocket from 1991, which was the American rock band's third LP. And yeah, what a really odd band name, Toad the Wet Sprocket. But their name is actually pulled from a Monty Python sketch, so fair play to them. I am a little partial to a bit of the flying circus myself. And Fear by Toad the Wet Sprocket is basically what you get when a band listens to all of the R.E.M. albums from the 1980s, everything from Chronic Town to Green, and then decides to try and cram them all onto one disc. So to say that the band are fairly derivative is something of an understatement. However, despite the very easy musical math, Toad the Wet Sprocket have still delivered a fantastic jangle pop LP that's stuffed to the gills with great songs and has a great balance of growling rockers and more emotive dirges and ballads. As for nitpicks, well, there aren't many, but I would say the spoken word additions to the track Butterflies are an unnecessary distraction, and the distorted rockabilly punch of Hold It Down is a bit too upbeat for the accompanying lyrics which dwell upon the horrors of rape. I mean, I'm a fan of depressing lyrics married to whimsical tunes, but that song pushes things a bit too far. It comes off sounding a bit distasteful and flippant. Everything else though is jangle pop gold. Opener Walk on the Ocean has that peak Alone Again era crowded house thing going on. Its jangly guitars and catchy vocal lines immediately hooking you into the record. Is It For Me's fuzzing jangle rock sounds like it was stolen directly off the tracklist from R.E.M.'s Murmur, and I mean that as a compliment as it also has a frisson of that record's quality. Pray Your Gods is a giant sweeping ballad that features an epic liftoff in the chorus. It's a beautifully grandiose tune. Before You Were Born has a spacious yet rhythmic pulse that gives the track a cinematic vista. It kinda sounds like the wide open American plains. Stories I Tell meanwhile has a dark moody quality that sees its low minimalist sections give way to desperate sounding guitar riffage. It's pretty cool. Well, closer, I Will Not Take These Things For Granted ends the record on a high, its delicate clean guitar work and incredibly catchy sing-along chorus blasting off towards the stratosphere. Mwah! Chef's kiss, that song just slaps. So yeah, add into that the beautiful accordion embellishments of Something to Say and the lovely jangly ballad All I Want, and you have a superb jangle pop LP that would make even Stipe, Mills, Buck and Berry crack a giant smile of appreciation. 4.5 stars. Coming in first place this week and taking home the Chuchu Reviews gold medal, we have New Boots and Panties by Dury from 1977, which was the English artist's second LP and the first and only under a solo moniker. And Dury certainly had a unique path to fame. He caught polio in the 1940s as a nipper, which led to him suffering paralysis down his left side, which sadly became a permanent disability. He also served as an art teacher at Luton College and made illustrations for the Sunday Times before coercing some of his students into forming a band. This led to the band getting signed and scoring a critical smash with the amusing single Sex, Drugs and Rock and Roll. Of course, Dury would go on to become a new wave icon, even scoring a #1 hit single with the song Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, hit me, only a few years after this LP, New Boots and Panties. And talking of this LP, what we have here is a rather fantastic album of funk, jazz, pub rock, vaudeville and punk, which is held together by Dury's gravelly voice and superb lyrics that more often than not are spat out with his tongue firmly planted in his cheek. Highlights on a flawless release would include the opening Wake Up and Make Love With Me, which comes out of the gate with an amusing funk tune that is simply about getting some nookie in the morning. Personally, I'm at the point in my life where I just can't be fucked in the morning. Literally. Or buggered for that matter. Actually, I prefer not to be buggered at any point in the day, come to think of it, but you know you're getting old when you'd rather catch 30 more minutes kip than bang a smoking hot Japanese girl. Sweet Jean Vincent starts appropriately as a 1950s style ballad before erupting into a fun kink style pub rocker. My Old Man has a musical tweeness to it, but is actually quite touching and soulful at the same time, as Ian drifts through beautifully evocative memories of his late father. Billy Ricky Dicky on the other hand is a whole bunch of daft knees up vaudeville fun that offers up a scoop of chuckles with its sly carry-on style comedy. If I Was With a Woman is hilariously mean-spirited but also incredibly catchy, as Dury growls, "If I was with a woman, I'd offer my indifference and make sure she never quite understood why." While the closing single, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, is an iconic banger that's as catchy as it is obviously silly. The track wasn't actually on the original LP, but has since been added after the fact, which is something I like. I mean, that's just too good a tune to languish in the non-album single No Man's Land. So yeah, add into that the furiously snarling punk rock section near the end of the record, which is comprised of the tracks Blockheads, the notably sweary Plaistow Patricia, and the Hell for Leather Blackmail Man. He's a blackmail man, he's a blackmail man! And you have an LP that is nothing but relentlessly entertaining from start to finish. 5 stars! And that's another episode of Chuchu Reviews in the bag. Of course, I know you'd rank these records differently, so why not sound off in the comments and let me know which one would have won for you, and maybe drop a nomination while you're there. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that other kind of YouTube jazz. Make sure to take care of yourself, but most importantly, just keep on ranking.